Hello, friends. Good evening. Welcome everyone for today's session on revised United Nations practice manual on transfer pricing. So we thought to start off a series on this revised manual for two reasons. One being the TP season has kick-started, so there will be a lot of transfer pricing studies which would be done, and not directly but indirectly this manual or the revisions done in this manual would help or would serve the understanding for the purpose of doing a transfer pricing study. And secondly, again, being India, we do not follow OECD model convention but a UN model convention, and this manual, again being a baby of UN, we felt it would be relevant in the context of Indian TP law. So let's get started, friends. Before that, would like to acknowledge the effort of Sundar Rajan for getting this presentation ready. The legends used, the committee would be the Committee of Experts on International Cooperation in Tax Matters. Manual being United Nations, this manual itself on transparency for developing countries. MNE, Multinational Enterprises. OECD, Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. TP, Transparency, UN, United Nations. So the schema for the evening, a background as to why this manual is required, what is the importance and relevance, the subcommittee which has been formed for particularly for this purpose, that is doing revisions for a 2017 UN manual, matters which were discussed in the three sessions which were there for the purpose of revision, the structure of the manual and the status of the revised manual. So friends, in this, so as I said, it would be a series of webinars. So there'll be like subsequent 9 to 10 webinars on this aspect, because the entire manual, or I would say the revision in the entire manual, has been bifurcated in multiple parts. There are part A, part B, part C. And then again, in all the parts, there are various subparts as well. So it is not possible to cover everything in one session. That's why today we'll focus only on the introduction and the glimpse of all the parts. Subsequently, the sessions would be taken on each of the subparts. The background, the committee of expert, that is the committee, began its work on United Nations, the practice manual in 2009. So as we seen the work, not on this revision but preparing a practice manual, that has been done from 2009. First print was in 2013, then again a revision happened in 2017. So first manual came in 2013, then a revision or the second manual in 2017, and now we are eyeing for a third revision, for which the talks or the discussions are going on. What is the importance and relevance of this TP manual? As I said, this is for specifically for developing countries like say Indonesia, India, for that matter, wherein like we follow source based taxation, or we are like importers of capital. So for us, in our economies or in our markets, how TP should be conducted, or transfer pricing study should be conducted. What are the guidance or the parameters to be checked? This manual, to an extent, almost gives answer for all our queries relating to TP when we are doing it in a developing economy. The relevance, again, yes, it aims at providing clear guidance on the policy and administrative aspects of applying TP analysis, helps developing country to counter profit shifting. So where there are malpractices of shifting profit from a high tax jurisdiction to a low tax jurisdiction, yes, this manual intends to curb that through provisions and tools mentioned in this document. The manual also focuses on challenges faced by certain developing countries like Brazil, China, India, for that matter, which would be helpful in addressing practical difficulties faced in implementing TP analysis. The manual seeks to minimize potential double taxation disputes and combating potential mispricing, that is pricing which is other than the arm's length standard. The manual also addresses the difficulties faced, especially by developing countries in applying some of OECD TP guidelines. So, as I said, friends, we would follow UN TP manual. We are not the member of OECD, but just an observer. But in case there are some points which we are taking it from OECD TP guidelines, which may have some which may require some clear understanding. Yes, this manual intends to provide that clarity. Subcommittee for revised manual. So what happened for this revision? That is the third revision which is going on. For that, during the 15th session of the committee in 2007, a new subcommittee on Article 9, which is relating to associated enterprises, transparency was formed. This would be regarded as the subcommittee. The subcommittee was mandated to review and update the manual based on the following principles. So these were the parameters given to the subcommittee. One is reflect the operation of Article 9 of UN Model Convention and the arm's length principle, and to confirm that it is consistent with relevant commentaries of the UN model, to reflect the realities for and the need for development country at the relevant stages of capacity development. The third parameter, special attention should be paid to the experience of developing countries and the issues and options of most practical relevance to them. And the last, it draws upon the work being done in other forums. So what are the work being done in other forums, like say OECD for that matter? Can we take something from there as well, whether it would be relevant in the context of economies of developing countries? So this were the broader principles basis which the subcommittee was formed. Subcommittee should give due consideration to the outcome of OECD G20 action plan on base erosion and profit shifting as concerns transfer pricing. So, as I think there are 15 action plans for under the which has been coined by BEPS committee. Whatever action plans are relating to transfer pricing or which concerns transfer pricing, subcommittee should see that as well or provide due consideration to that. Subcommittee shall report on its progress at the sessions of the committee and provide its final updated draft manual for discussion and adoption not later than 22nd session in 2021. So friends, you will see in subsequent slides, there are 3 sessions, that is 18, 19 and 20 sessions, which are already being done by June 2020. So there is a 21st session and there will be a 22nd session. These 2 sessions would be done by 2021, and by end of 2021 we are expected to have the third edition of the revised TP manual. So how the journey was from 18th session to, or rather I would say like how the journey began, or how is it poised as of now. We'll see. Firstly, the constitution of subcommittee. Subcommittee currently comprises 27 participants from tax administrations. There are various people from administrations, academia, international organizations, and the private sector, including from MNCs and advisors. Subcommittee participants are organized in several drafting groups because of the many issue perspectives in this area. Subcommittee of size and diversity has been considered necessary. So, friends, if you see, there is a committee, but there was a requirement of subcommittee as well because of the volatility of the subject, and also the concerns and issues involved in this particular subject. There was a requirement of a subcommittee. So committee felt that they may not be in a position to adhere to the principles which are given, or they may not be positioned to revise it on their own. That's why the subcommittee was formed. Again, what were the matters which were discussed? So after the formation of subcommittee, matters discussed in 18th session. 18th session was there, which took place from 23rd, 26th April 2019. In this, there were 3 points which were discussed. First, on the proposing new chapter B on financial transactions. The draft discusses the importance of corporate financing decisions within multinational groups and how these decisions could lead to tax-based erosion. So a new dedicated chapter was being proposed on financial transactions. Revision to the guidance contained in the manual on the transactional profit split method. So some guidance and some issues to be resolved, which is relating to profit split method. This is again a method out of the 6 methods. This is one method which is used to justify the transfer pricing study. A progress draft on the work on establishing transfer pricing capability in developing countries, risk assessment, and transfer pricing audits. So these were the 3 parameters which were discussed, or which were the matters of discussion in the 18th session. From April, that is 26th April or 27th April 2019, till the start of the second session, which was somewhere in the month of October, that is 15th of October. So from 27th April till 14th October, 14th of October, the subcommittee deliberated and provided their suggestions to the committee. Basis that those matters, whatever three were approved in 19 sessions. So whatever matter discussed in 18 sessions, along with the suggestions and discussions from subcommittee during the interval period, were approved in 19 session. And then in 19 session, there are three more points which were the points of agenda. The first being the revised chapter on comparability. The main purpose to seek consistency between the manual and the platform for collaboration on tax toolkit on comparability. This is again a platform. So there are various platforms on OECD. One we would see for platform for collaboration for tax treaty negotiation. There is another called the one which is we are seeing the tax toolkit on comparability. So there was a necessity to confirm whatever is given in the UN manual that is in consistence with this platform for collaboration, the sessions given by the PCTT on comparability. So if not, what are the reasons and what can be better, what can be done in a better manner? Second was revised and additional guidance on group synergies in centralized procurement functions. Third being a revised chapter merging and updating former chapters on the general legal environment and on establishing and updating transfer pricing regimes. So these were the three different agenda apart from what got approved or what were the matters which were discussed in 18th session which got approved. These were the three new things. Again, the same thing from 19th October 2019 till June 2020. To be very much specific, till the date 21st June 2020, there were again deliberations and discussions on these matters. Again, in 20th session, the matters which were discussed in 19, along with the suggestion of subcommittees, those got approved, and there were five more points for first discussion. So thorough revision of part A of the manual, which deals in transfer pricing in a global environment. What are the various parts of TP manual? We'll see subsequently after this slide. So part A, which relates to transfer pricing in a global environment, there needs to be a revision in that. Revision on chapter of introduction to transfer pricing, a revised chapter in part B on relationship between transfer pricing and customs valuation. Again, this is more paramount when it comes to, like, say, transactions of purchase of capital goods from outside India from a related party. Customs valuation falls under, or this kind of approach falls under the any other method, and it gives much breather for the assessee who wants to do a transferring study, because purchase of capital goods, if you see, friends, it is a very distinct transaction wherein, like, your other methods like the comparable uncontrolled price or transactional net margin method or profit split method or cost plus or resale price method, all these methods would not be used. So we are left with only other method. Under other method, custom valuation is like the foremost or being used majoritarily in terms of how we can justify the price which we have paid to the related party for purchase of capital goods. So there was a revision required in part B on relationship between transfer pricing and customs valuation. Additional targeted and focused guidelines in part B on chapter centralized sales function. A revised chapter in part C on dispute avoidance and resolution. So the matters which are mentioned above shall be discussed and approved in 21st session. The 21st session is yet to be done, which will be held in future date, which is not notified. So these matters again would be discussed in 21st session, and again there would be some more agendas in 21st session, which will get finalized in 22nd, and with the end of 22nd session, whatever the discussions happen in the five sessions, along with the suggestions and the inputs in by the subcommittees, there would be revision in the TP manual. So what is the structure of the TP manual? First, as we said, friends, part A, it deals in TP in global environment. It provides background material on MNCs, structure of MNEs and their significance in cross-border transactions. Part B specifically deals on design principles and policy considerations. Part C, practical implementation of a TP regime. What are the practical aspects in terms of documentation, audit, assessment, dispute resolution, etc. And part D, again, country practice addressing key challenges faced in TP analysis by certain developing countries, including India. So now, after all the sessions, where are we in terms of all parts? What were the revisions which were done? So if you see part A, TP in global environment, First reading session was done in 20th, which will get approval in 21st session. B1 introduction, again first reading happened 20th, which will get approval in 21st. B2, which is talking about comparability, first reading in 19, which got approved in 20th. TP and customs valuation would be discussed in 20th, which was discussed in 20th, which will get approved in 21st. Profit splits done in 18 and got approved in 19. Additional guidance on centralized sales, which was done in 20th session, which will get approved in 20. Discussion happened in 20th. Approval will happen in 21st. Group synergies and centralized procurement discussed in 19th session, got approved in 20th. Financial transactions, excluding guarantees and examples, similar examples, discussion happened in 18, got approved in 19. Same way, financial transactions relating to guarantees happened in 19, the discussions, and got approved in 20th. Financial transactions, apart from guarantees, will get approved in 21st session. Likewise, for seeing part C, if you see part C, friends, this part in part C. If you see part C, merging and updating form chapters on general legal environment and on establishing and updating TP regimes. The first reading happened in 19, it got approved in 20th. Part C, almost all subparts, that is establishing transfer pricing capability, documentation, risk assessment, and TP audits, discussed in 18th session, got approved in 19th session. And parts relating to dispute avoidance and resolution discussed in 20th session, which will get approved in 21st. Please note, friends, revision of Part D has neither been discussed in any of the concluded sessions. That is not an agenda for discussion in 21st session. So as of now, Part D of 2017 practice manual remains the same as of now. There may be a discussion in 21st or 22nd session. We never know. But as of now, it is not been touched upon for the purpose of revision or discussion. Again, in our subsequent series of webinar, we'll be focusing on each part which have got approved. So till 20th session or 20th session meeting, whatever parts have been approved, we'll be focusing on each subparts and deliberate as to what are the revisions which are mentioned in all the parts. So these were some of our thoughts on or we thought as to start off a series on UNP manual, which was recently concluded. We felt this would be relevant in terms of the current TP season and provide some guidance for the practitioners as well as for the companies in terms of maintaining the TP documentation. Any queries, would be happy to answer, friends. Thank you, friends. Have a great day ahead.